A baby slept at 2:12 p.m. and woke up at 6:05 p.m. For how many minutes did he sleep? So he slept by this time and woke up here. So we want to find out how much time was spent from this time right onto this time. Now, so this is a case of finding the difference between both times. And when we hear difference, that is subtraction. So we are subtracting 2:12 p.m. from 6:05 p.m. So 6:05 to 12, we are subtracting. As usual, we work from behind. So this is our minutes and this is hours. So 5 minutes minus 12 minutes. Of course, that cannot go. So we borrow 1 from 6, it becomes 5. Remember, the value that we are borrowing here is actually 1 hour. So by the time it comes here, we have to change it from hours to minutes. And we would recall that 60 minutes make 1 hour. So if we are bringing 1 hour here, it comes as 60 minutes. So 60 plus 5, it becomes 65 minutes. So now we can do 65 minus 12. 5 minus 2 is 3. 6 minus 1 is 5. And then 5 minus 2 is 3. So this means that the baby slept for 3 hours and 53 minutes. Since all our answers are in minutes, we need to change 3 hours to minutes. Since 60 minutes make 1 hour, then 3 hours will be 3 times 60 minutes. 3 times 6 is 18, then we include the 0 behind, that's 180 minutes. So 180 minutes plus 53 minutes. So 180 plus 53. 0 plus 3 is 3. 8 plus 5 is 13. 1 plus 1 is 2. So that is 233 minutes right here. The bell tolls every 30 minutes on the hour and at half past the hour. At half past the hour every 30 minutes. How many times does the bell toll between the times 11:45 a.m. 10 to 11:45 a.m.? Immediately after 11:45 a.m., we have 12 p.m. Tolls here are from 12 p.m. we have 12:30 p.m. That's half past the hour. It tolls here. 12:30 we have 1 p.m. Tolls here. We have 1:30 p.m. Tolls here. We have 2 p.m. Tolls here. We have 2:30 p.m. Tolls here. We have 3 p.m. It also after that we have 3. So bell tolls 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Tolls 7 times. That's right here. A boy arrives at school at 8:15 a.m. If he stayed in the school for 4 hours 20 minutes, when did he leave? So we want to add 4 hours 20 minutes to 8:15 a.m. So 8:15 a.m. and then 4:20 minutes. We are adding. So 5 plus 0 is 5. Remember, this is the minutes and this is the hours. 1 plus 2 is 3. 35 minutes is now up to 60 minutes, so we are fine. And then 8 plus 4 is 12. So that's 12:35. This means that the boy will leave school by 12:35 p.m. 12:35 right here. A bus left Lagos on Monday at 6:30 a.m. and arrived Kaduna on Tuesday at 3 p.m. How long did the journey take? For questions like this, the exact same time on Monday up until the exact same time on Tuesday would have made 24 hours. What it means is that 6:30 a.m. Monday to 6:30 a.m. Tuesday is equal to 24 hours. So we have until 6:30 a.m. on Tuesday. Now we want to find the difference from 6:30 a.m. on Tuesday to 3 p.m. on Tuesday. So from this point to this point, we are finding the difference. So we subtract. So 3 p.m. sorry, 300 minus 6:30. Now you would notice that both of them are in different units. So for this to be able to work, we need to change 3 p.m. to, we add 12 to this because from a.m. to p.m., that's 12 hours. So if we add 12 to this, this becomes 1500 hours. 1500 hours minus 6:30 a.m. Now we can subtract. This is our minutes, this is our hours. So this is 0 minutes minus 30 minutes. Of course, that won't work. So we come to 15 and we borrow 1. We're left with 14. When we borrow 1 and bring it here, when you're changing from hours to minutes, what happens is that for every 1 you carry over, it becomes 60 minutes because 60 minutes are there in 1 hour. So since we are borrowing 1 hour from here, this changes to 60 minutes. Now we can do 60 minus 30, because 0 minus 0 is 0, 6 minus 3 is 3. And then we have 14 minus 6. 14 minus 6 is 8. So this means an extra 8 hours, 30 minutes, plus the initial 24 hours spent. So 24 plus 8 is 32. So that's 32 hours, 30 minutes. Since 30 minutes is half of 60 minutes, which makes 1 hour, then we can write this as 32 and a half hours. And that's what we have here. A car leaves Lagos at 11:30 a.m. and arrives Jos in 2 hours 15 minutes. What time does it get to Jos? So from 11:30 a.m. and then 2 hours 15 minutes. So we are adding 2 hours 15 minutes to 11:30 a.m. So 11:30 a.m. we add 2 hours 15 minutes. This is our minutes, this is our hours. So 30 plus 15, so 0 plus 5 is 5, 3 plus 1 is 4, 45, it can stay here, and then 1 plus 2 is 3, and then 1. So 13:45. So this 13:45 hours, which we know that it should stop at 12:45, and then the next one to count instead of 13 should jump to 1. So instead of 13:45, this becomes 1:45 p.m. 1:45 p.m. is right here. A clock which shows the time at 3:18 p.m. is 35 minutes fast. 35 minutes fast means it is 35 minutes ahead of what it should be. So the question says, what's the correct time? So whatever the time is on that clock right now, it is 35 minutes ahead. So we need to bring it back by 35 minutes. So we need to subtract 35 minutes from 3:18 p.m. So 3:18 p.m. and we are subtracting 35 minutes. Remember, this is our minutes and this is our hours. So this is 18 minutes minus 35 minutes. 18 minutes minus 35 minutes, that will not go. So we go to 3 and borrow 2. Remember that this represents hours. So we borrow 1 and we are left with 2. So if we are borrowing 1 hour, when it comes over here, it changes from 1 hour to 60 minutes because 60 minutes make 1 hour. So it means we are adding 60 to whatever is here. So if we have 68 and we add 60, that becomes 78. So 78 minus 35, that would work. 8 minus 5 is 3. And then 7 minus 3 is 4. So this leaves us with 2:43 p.m. 2:43 p.m. right here. A clock which shows the time as 1:10 p.m. is 20 minutes fast. What is the correct time? If it is 20 minutes fast, then it means it is 20 minutes ahead of the time it's supposed to be. So the correct time is actually 20 minutes backwards. 20 minutes backwards is a case of subtraction. So we are going to subtract 20 minutes from 1:10 p.m. So 1:10 p.m. we take away 20 minutes. Now, this is our minutes, this is our hours, because 10 minutes minus 20 minutes wouldn't work. So we come here and we take away 1, and this will be 0. So we carry 1. Now, when you're carrying over hours to minutes, it changes to 60 minutes. So 1 hour becomes 60 minutes. So we add 60 here and it becomes 70 minutes. So 70 minus 20, of course, that's 50. And then this is 0. So this is 0:50. Now, because this is 1:10 p.m., this is the same thing as 13:10 hours. So if this were 13 and we had taken away 1 from it, it would have been 12. So it means that this time here is actually the same thing as 12:50 p.m. because we took away 1 from this 1, which became 0. And if this were written in hours, instead of writing 1:10 p.m., we would have written 13:10 hours. So the correct time should be 12:10, 12:50 p.m. right here. A debt of 450 naira is to be paid in monthly installments of 50 naira. How many months will it take to finish the debt? So you're paying 50 naira every month until you finish paying this debt. So one way to go about this is to figure out how many times you will find 50 naira in 450 naira. That's division. So we are dividing 450 naira by 50 naira. Because we can cancel out our units and we can cancel out our zeros, which is the same thing as dividing by 10. So we have 45. 5 into 5 is 1. 5 into 4 it cannot go. 0 carry 4. We have 45. 5 into 45 is 9. So it means that there are 9 50 nairas in 450 naira. So if you pay 50 naira every month, it means that it will take you 9 months to finish paying the debt. 9 months, right? A faulty watch gains 10 seconds an hour. So for every 10 seconds, it gets an extra, for every 1 hour rather, it gains an extra 10 seconds. If it is set correctly at 8 p.m. one evening, what time will it show when the correct time is 8 p.m. the following evening? One key thing to note with time is that the same time on the same day to the same time on the next day is 24 hours. It takes 24 hours. So it means that this has been on for 24 hours. And if it gains 10 seconds every hour, it means it has gained a total of 10 times 24 seconds, which is 240 seconds. So if it has gained 240 seconds, let us figure out what this is in minutes. So we are changing from seconds to minutes, from a smaller unit to a higher unit. It means we should divide. And recall that 60 seconds makes 1 minute. So we are dividing 240 seconds by 60 seconds. We cancel out our units. We cancel out zeros, which is the same thing as dividing by 10. And then we divide by 6. 6 into 6 is 1. 6 into 2 cannot go. We carry 2. 6 into 24 is 4. So that's 4 minutes. It gains 4 minutes in 24 hours. So what time will it show when the correct time is 8 p.m.? When the correct time is 8 p.m., it would have gained 4 minutes on top of that. So it will show 8:04 p.m. 8:04 is right here. So a faulty watch gains 5 seconds an hour. If it is set correctly at 8 a.m. one morning, what time will it show when the correct time is 8 a.m. the following morning? So this means that for every 1 hour, there's an extra 5 seconds on the time. So let's figure out how many hours are there from 8 a.m. one morning to 8 a.m. the following morning. What we need to remember is if you have the same time on one day and you have that same time on the next day, what it takes to move from this to the next day is 24 hours. So it means that between 8 a.m. this morning and 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, we have 24 hours. So if there are 24 hours and then 5 seconds on top of each hour, then the total time that is added on top of it should be 5 seconds times 24 hours. So 5 times 24. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 2 is 10 plus 2, 12. So it means that we have an additional 120 seconds. So an additional 120 seconds, let us change that to minutes. We know that 60 seconds is equal to 1 minute. Sorry, 60. So 120 seconds divided by 60 seconds. 0 cancels 0. 6 here is 1. 6 into 12 is 2. So it means that this is 2 minutes. So it means that there's an additional 2 minutes on top of the correct time. So when the time is 8 a.m. the following morning, the watch will read 8:02 a.m. Option D right here. Question 11 says, a lesson which takes 1 hour 45 minutes starts at 10:35 a.m. What time does the lesson end? So we are adding 1 hour 45 minutes to 10:35 a.m. So 10:35 a.m. and we are adding 1 hour 45 minutes. So this is our minutes place and this is our hours place. So we are adding 35 minutes to 45 minutes. 5 plus 5 is 10. So that's 0, carry 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8. So 80 minutes. But we can write 80 here. The maximum this space can take is 60. So if we remove 80, sorry, if we remove 60 from 80, we are left with 20 minutes. So 80 minutes is the same thing as 20 minutes plus 60 minutes. So we write 20 minutes here and carry over 60 minutes. When we carry 60 minutes over, that makes 1 hour. So plus 1 here. So we have 11 plus 1. 11 plus 1 is 12. So it means that the time, if the lesson starts by 10:35 a.m. and lasts for 1 hour 45 minutes, it means that the lesson will end by 12:20 p.m. 12:20 p.m. is right here. Question 12. A long distance bus left Lagos at 7:30 a.m. on Tuesday and arrives Jos at 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday the next day. How long did the journey take? How long did the journey take? So, one easy way out of this is to remember that from the same time on one day to the same time on another day, that will give us 24 hours in between. So it means that from 7:30 a.m. on Tuesday to 7:30 a.m. on Wednesday is 24 hours. 24 hours. So let's see what it will be from 7:30 a.m. on Wednesday to 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday. So we are to do 6:30 p.m. minus 7:30 a.m. to get what we need to add to 24 hours. So since this is 6:30 p.m., once your time has crossed 12 noon, for ease, you can begin to count in terms of your hours. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So from 12 to 6, so 12 plus 6, that's 18 hours. So it means that 6:30 p.m. is the same thing as 18:30 hours. 18:30 hours. So 6:30 p.m. minus 7:30 a.m. is the same thing as 18:30 hours minus 7:30 a.m. or 7:30 hours. Now let's subtract. This is our minute space. This is our hour space. So 30 minus 30, of course, that's 0. So 0, 0. 8 minus 7 is 1. 1 minus nothing is 1. So it's 11 hours right here. So from 7:30 a.m. on Tuesday to 7:30 a.m. on Wednesday is 24 hours like we see here. And then from 7:30 a.m. on Wednesday to 6:30 p.m. is another 11 hours. So our final answer will be 24 hours plus 11 hours. 4 plus 1 is 5. 2 plus 1 is 3. That's 35 hours. And we have that here. Question 13. A man owes a debt of 90 naira and he is to pay back in monthly installments of 2 naira 50 kobo. So every month he pays back 2 naira 50 kobo. How many years will it take him to finish paying the debt? How many years will it take him to finish paying the debt? So if he pays 2 naira 50 kobo every month, so it means he pays 2 naira 50 kobo until he has paid off 90. So the first thing I want to do is to look for how many 2 naira 50 kobos are there in 90 naira. So we divide 90.00 divided by 2.50. Because our units will cancel out. Now, because of our decimal points, when we are dividing decimals, we should move our decimal points from the denominator to the end. So we move it to here, and then we do the same thing for our numerator. So that leaves us with 9,000 divided by 250. We can start out by cancelling out our zeros, which is the same thing as dividing by 10. So 900 over 25. Let's try to divide through by 5. 5 into 2 is 0, carry 2. 5 into 25 is 5. 5 into 9 is 1, remainder 4, 40. 5 into 40 is 8. 5 into 0 is 0. So we have 180 divided by 5. Again, we can divide by 5. 5 into 5 is 1. 5 into 1 is 0, carry 1. 5 into 18 is 3, remainder 3. 5 into 30 is 6. So that is 36. So it means that if he pays 2 naira 50 kobo every time, he will make this payment 36 times or 36 months to have paid up 90 naira. So we don't have our answers here in months, all our answers are in years. So let us convert 36 months to years. Remember, 12 months equal 1 year. So to find how many years are in 36 months, we do 36 divided by 12. 36 divided by 12, let's divide with 4. 4 into 1 is 0, carry 1. 4 into 12 is 3. 4 into 3 is 0, carry 3. 4 into 36 is 9. And then we have 9 divided by 3, which is 3. So 3 years. So it means that he will keep paying 2 naira 50 kobo every month for 3 years to be able to pay up his debt. That's here. Question 14. A man receives a total salary of 4,920 naira in 2 years. If he was paid the same amount each month, what was his monthly salary? So he was paid this. He was paid a fixed amount every month for 2 years, and that gave us this. So we want to find out how much his monthly salary is. First thing we need to figure out is how many months are there in 2 years. We know that in 1 year we have 12 months. So in 2 years we should multiply 12 by 2. 12 times 2 is 24. So we have 24 months. So according to the question, he's paid an equal amount 24 times to get this. So let us look for how many 24s we can find in here that will tell us how much he was paid. So 4,920 divided by 24 months to give us how much he was paid each month. Let's divide by 4. 4 into 2 is 0, carry 2. 4 into 24 is 6. 4 into 4 is 1. 4 into 9 is 2, remember 1. 12. 4 into 12 is 3. 4 into 0 is 0. So that's 1,230 divided by 6. We can divide by 6. 6 into 6 is 1. 6 into 1 is 0, carry 1. 6 into 12 is 2. 6 into 3, it cannot go, so 0, carry 3. 6 into 30 is 5. So we have 205. What this means is that he is paid 205 naira every month for 24 months, for 2 years, for him to have a total salary of 4,920. And 205 is right here. Question 15. A man spends 8,200 naira on power monthly. How much will he spend in 3 months? So this is what he spends every month, and we want to figure out how much he spends in 3 months. So we should simply multiply this by 3. So 8,200, we can do away with our zeros after the decimal points. Multiply this by 3. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 8 is 24. So if he pays 8,200 every month, in 3 months, he would have paid 24,600 naira. which is right here. Question 16. A man took a loan of 9,000 naira, 90,000 naira without interest from a cooperative society, and he is to be paying back 2,500 on monthly installments. How many years will it take him to finish paying the debt? So the first thing we want to do is to find out how many 2,500s are there in 90,000. And the way we can do that is by dividing 90,000 by 2,500. Can cancel out our units. We can cancel out our zeros, which is the same thing as dividing by 10. We cancel out again. We've divided by 10 again. So we are left with 900 divided by 25. We can divide through by 5. 5 into 2 is 0, carry 2. 5 into 25 is 5. 5 into 9 is 1, remainder 4. 5 into 40 is 8, then 5 into 0 is 0. That leaves us with 180 divided by 5. 5 into 5 is 1. 5 into 1 is 0, carry 1. 5 into 18 is 3, remainder 3, that's 30. 5 into 30 is 6. So this will be 36. So if he pays 2,500 naira every month, for him to pay back 90,000, he will keep paying for 36 months. And we do not see 36 months here. All our answers are in years. So we need to change 36 months into years. We would recall that 12 months is equal to 1 year. So 36 months will be equal to 36 divided by 12 years. We can divide by 4. 4 into 1 is 0, carry 1. 4 into 12 is 3. 4 into 3 is 0, carry 3, that's 36. 4 into 36 is 9. And we have 9 divided by 3, which is 3 years. So if he pays 2,500 naira every month, in 3 years, he would have paid off his 90,000 naira debt. Question 17. A meeting started at 10:35 a.m. and ended at 3:15 p.m. the same day. How long was the meeting? So we want to find how much time it took from 10:35 a.m. to 3:15 a.m. So we can do this by subtracting 3:15 p.m. and 10:35 a.m. Now, because this is in PM or this is PM, we might want to change this to hours. So recall that your time counts from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 all the way to 12. And after 12, we start counting from 1 again. But in hours, if we are counting hours, then we'll keep counting from 12 to 13 to 14 to 15 and so on. So 3:15 p.m. would be 12 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3. So 12 plus 3, that's 15. So this becomes 15 hours minus 10:35 hours. 10:35 a.m. is the same thing as 10:35 hours. Now we can subtract. 5 minus 5 is 0. Okay, sorry. This is our minute space. This is our hour space. So first we should do 15 minus 35. But that won't work. So we need to come here and borrow 1. So we borrow 1 from 5, becomes 4. Now remember what we borrowed here is 1 hour. So by the time we bring 1 hour to the minute space, it changes from 1 hour to 60 minutes. So it means what we are adding here is 60 minutes. So if we add 60 to 15, 5, 7. So that's 75. So we can simply make this 75. And then 75 minus 35, we can subtract that. 5 minus 5 is 0. 7 minus 3 is 4. And then 4 minus 0 is 4. 1 minus 1 is 0. So it means that the time that the meeting took was 4 hours, since these are hours, please, and 40 minutes. 4 hours, 40 minutes. And that is right here. Question 18. A meeting started at 11:35 a.m. and ended at 4:15 p.m. the same day. How long did the meeting last? So we want to find out how much time it took us from 11:35 a.m. to 4:15 p.m. So we should subtract 4:15 p.m. minus 11:35 a.m. Now, because this is p.m., we need to change 4:15 p.m. to hours. Remember that your clock, once it gets to 12, instead of counting 13, it moves to 1. So it might be difficult subtracting directly, but it's easier if we count 4:15 p.m. in hours. So from 12 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, 4 more hours on top of 12. So if we add that, that's 16 hours, so 16, 15 hours. So 4:15 p.m. becomes 16 hours, 15 minutes, and then minus 11 hours, 35 minutes. Now we can subtract. So these are minute space, this is our hour space. So 15 minutes minus 35 minutes. Of course, that won't work. So we need to borrow 1 from our hour. So if we borrow 1 from 6, we are left with 5. Remember, what we are borrowing is 1 hour. So when it comes here, it comes at 60 minutes. So it means we are adding 60 minutes to 15 minutes, which is 75 minutes. So we can change this to 75. So now 75 minutes minus 35 minutes. We can easily do that. 5 minus 5 is 0. 7 minus 3 is 4. 5 minus 1 is 4. 1 minus 1 is 0. So it means that the meeting lasted for 4 hours and 40 minutes. Right here. Question 19. A meeting started at 10:35 a.m. and ended at 3:15 p.m. the same day. How long was the meeting? We want to figure out how long it takes from here to here. We should subtract. So 3:15 p.m. minus 10:35 a.m. Now, whenever we're dealing with questions like this, where you have something in p.m., it's best to change that to hours so that you can easily subtract. So you know that your clock stops at 12 and then starts counting from 1 all over again. So from 12 to 1 to 2 to 3, that's an additional 3 hours on top of 12. So that will be 15 hours and 15 minutes. So 15 hours, and then minus 10:35 hours. We can subtract. So this is our minute space, this is our hour space. So 15 minutes minus 35 minutes. That obviously won't work. So we need to borrow 1 from here. We are left with 4. Remember that what we are borrowing is 1 hour. So when it comes here, it should change to 60 minutes. So we add 60 minutes to 15 minutes, which will give us 75 minutes. So this is 75 minutes. So now we can do 75 minutes minus 35 minutes. 5 minus 5 is 0. 7 minus 3 is 4. Question 20. A plane takes off from Lagos at 10:30 a.m. It flies to Accra in 65 minutes, makes a stop of 40 minutes at Accra Airport, and then flies back to Lagos in 70 minutes. At what time does it land again at Lagos Airport? So first, we want to put together the total time involved. So that's 65 minutes, 40 minutes, and 70 minutes. Now, it's easier for us here if we just change each of them to hours. So 65 minutes is 1 hour, 5 minutes, because 60 minutes make 1 hour, and then we are left with 5. 40 minutes is the same thing as 40 minutes. And then 70 minutes is 60 plus 10. So that's 1 hour, 10 minutes. So we can add 5 plus 0 is 5. 0 plus 4 plus 1 is 5. So that's 55 minutes. And then 1 hour plus 1 hour, that's 2 hours. So 2 hours, 55 minutes. So if the plane takes off from Lagos by 10:30 a.m., let us add 2 hours, 55 minutes to 10:30 a.m. 10:30 a.m. is the same thing as 10:30 hours. So we can add without converting. 0 plus 5 is 5. 3 plus 5 is 8, 85. But of course, we can't write 85 here. The maximum we can write here is 60. So we carry over 60 from here and write what's left. So 85 minus 60, 5 minus 0 is 5, 8 minus 6 is 2. So what we should write here is 25, and we carry over 60. When we carry over 60, because this is our minutes place and this is our hours place, when we carry over 60, it becomes 1 hour. So plus 1. So this becomes 11. And then 11 plus 2 is 13. So this arrives at 13:25 hours. 13:25 hours, like we know, when your time gets to 12, instead of writing 13, you move to 1. So 13:25 hours is the same thing as 1:25 p.m. So the plane returns to Lagos by 1:25 p.m. and that's right here. Question 21. A stylist is paid 5,400 naira per month. What is his total salary in 1.5 years? 5,400 every month for 1.5 years. We know that 12 months is equal to 1 year. So 1.5 years should be 12 plus 6. That's 18 months. So he's paid this amount of money every month 18 times. So to find his total salary, we should multiply 5,400, because we can do away with the 0.00 and add it back later. We're multiplying by 18. 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 4 is 32. So 2 carry 3. 8 times 5 is 40 plus 3. That's 43. And then we leave a space here. We multiply by 1. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 5 is 5. And then we add 0, 0, 2 plus 0, 2, 3 plus 4, 7, 4 plus 5, 9. So his salary is 97,200 naira. And that's right here. Question 22. A train left Kano on Monday at 9:05 a.m. and arrived Lagos on Tuesday at 12 noon. How long did the journey take? So from 9:05 a.m. to 12 noon, how much time is that? One of the easiest ways you can solve problems like this is to first remind yourself that the time it takes from the same time on one day to the same time the next day is 24 hours. So it means that from 9:05 a.m. on Monday to 9:05 a.m. on Tuesday, that's 24 hours already. So we have 24 hours. So what we want to look for now is the time from 9:05 a.m. on Tuesday to 12 noon. And then to find that difference, we can subtract. So 12:00, 9:05. Since this is noon and it's not yet, up to 1, 2, 3, 4, we don't need to convert. We can leave it as 12. And then we subtract. This is our minutes place. This is our hours place. So that's 00 hours minus 5. Sorry, 00 minutes minus 5 minutes. Of course, that wouldn't work. So we need to borrow 1 from here. So that leaves us with 11. So we are carrying over 1. Remember, when you carry over 1 hour to the minute space, it becomes 60 minutes. So this changes to 60 minutes. Now we can do 60 minus 5. 60 minus 5 is 55. And then 11 minus 9 is 2. So that's 2 hours, 55 minutes. So from 9:05 a.m. on Tuesday to 12 noon on Tuesday is 2 hours, 55 minutes. If we add that to the original 24 hours we had, that would be 26 hours, 55 minutes. And that is what we have here. Question 23. Alex left home at 6:45 a.m. and got back home by 4:30 p.m. the same day. How many hours and minutes did he spend outside? So you want to find out how much time it took from this time to this time. And how you do that is by subtracting. So 4:30 p.m. minus 6:45 a.m. Now, because this is p.m., we need to change it back to hours. Because remember, once you hit 12 on your clock, instead of going to 13, 14, 15, it goes back to start counting from 1. So to account for that, this is plus 4. So if we add 4 hours to 12, that will be 16 hours, 30 minutes. So we have 16 hours, 30 minutes minus 6 hours, 45 minutes. In AM is the same thing as in hours. So this is our minutes place. This is our hours place. Let us subtract. So 30 minutes minus 45 minutes, that wouldn't work. So we need to borrow. We borrow 1 from 6, we are left with 5. And then when we carry 1 hour to the minutes place, it changes to 60 minutes. So it means we should add 60 to 30. So 60 plus 30, 0, 9, 90. So this becomes 90. So we can do 90 minus 45 now. Because 0 minus 5 wouldn't work. So if we take 1 from this, we are left with 8, and then 1. So 10 minus 5 is 5. 8 minus 4 is 4. That's 45 minutes. And then 15 minus 6 is 9. So that is 9 hours, 45 minutes. That's how much time it takes from 6:45 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. 9 hours, 45 minutes is right here. Alhaji Hassan and uncle left Ido railway terminals in Lagos for Kaduna at 4:30 p.m. The journey took them 13 hours. At what time did they arrive at Kaduna the next day? The easiest way to go about solving problems like this is that 12 hours is the same thing as changing from AM to PM. or from PM to AM. So it means if you have 9 AM, 12 hours from that will be 9 PM. If you have 10 PM, 12 hours from that will be 10 AM the next day. So if we have 13 hours, that's the same thing as 12 hours plus 1 hour. So from 4:30 p.m., 12 hours would be 4:30 a.m. the next day. So 12 hours from 4:30 p.m. is 4:30 a.m. the next day. And then we add 1 hour on top of it. That's 5:30 a.m. Here we go. Question 25. Alhaji Hassan and Uncle Wale left Ido Park in Lagos for Kaduna at 4:30 p.m. The journey took them 13 hours. At what time did they arrive at Kaduna the next day? So one rule you might want to recall is that 12 hours is what it takes to move from AM to PM of the same time. So for example, if you have 8 AM, 12 hours after 8 AM is 8 PM. If you have 9 PM, 12 hours after 9 PM is 9 AM the next day. So 13 hours is simply 12 hours plus 1 hour. So from 4:30 p.m., if we add 12 hours, that will become 4:30 a.m. the next day. And then we can add this 1 hour on top of it. So that gives us 5:30 a.m. the next day, right here. An express train leaves Lagos at 4 p.m. on Monday. It arrives in Maiduguri at 11 a.m. on Wednesday. How long does the journey take? So 4 p.m. Monday to 11 a.m. Wednesday. Now, to solve problems like this, we need to remind ourselves that from the same time on one day to that same time the next day is 24 hours. From the same time one day to that same time the next day is 24 hours. Also, from the same time in AM to that same time in PM on the same day is 12 hours. Also, from the same time in PM to that same time, the same day in AM, that is 12 hours. So let's apply that here. From 4 p.m. Monday to 4 p.m. Tuesday, this is Monday, this is Tuesday, this is 24 hours, right? Now, from 4 p.m. Tuesday to 4 p.m. Wednesday is also 24 hours. But this doesn't get to 4 p.m. But then, from 4 p.m. Tuesday to 4 a.m. Wednesday is 12 hours. Remember, we said that from the same time to the next PM or AM of that same time is 12 hours. So, at 4 a.m. on Wednesday, we have done 24 hours plus 12 hours. Now, let's figure out how much time it is from 4 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Wednesday. That is simply 11 minus 4. 11 minus 4 is 7. So it means that we have spent a total of 24 hours plus 12 hours plus 7 hours. Let's add all of them together. 24 plus 12 plus 7. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 plus 7 is 13. 3 carry 1. 1 plus 2 plus 1 is 4. So we have spent a total of 43 hours. Aldo left home for school at 7:16 a.m. and arrives there at 8 a.m. How long did it take him to get to school? From 7:16 a.m. to 8:08 a.m., we should subtract 8:08 a.m., 7:16 a.m. They are in the same unit, a.m., so we can subtract. Remember, this is our minute place, this is our hours place. So this is 8 minutes minus 16 minutes. That wouldn't work. So we borrow 1 from 8. We are left with 7. Remember that what we are borrowing is 1 hour. So when we bring it here, it becomes 60 minutes. So if we add 60 minutes to 8 minutes, that's 68 minutes. So now we can subtract 68 minus 16. 8 minus 6 is 2. 6 minus 1 is 5. And then 7 minus 7 is 0. So this is simply 52 minutes spent. That's right here. Question 28 says we should change 3.5 days to hours. 3.5 days to hours. So recall that 24 hours is 1 day. So 3.5 days is equal to 24 hours times 3.5. So we can do 24 times 3.5. So 24 times 3.5, 0.5 here is 1 decimal place. So we can borrow 1 decimal place and then multiply 24 by 35. 5 times 4 is 20, 0 carry 2. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2, that's 12. 3 times 4 is 12, 2 carry 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1, that's 7. And then we add. So 0, this is 4, this is 8. So this is 840. Remember that we borrowed 1 decimal place, so we come back and return it, which leaves us with 84. So that's 84 hours. 84 hours. And we can find that right here. Convert 3,600 seconds to minutes. We would recall that 60 seconds is equal to 1 minute. So we are looking for the value of 3,600 seconds. Now, since we are changing from seconds to minutes, it means we are moving from a smaller unit to a bigger unit. Whenever you're moving from a smaller unit to a bigger unit, you divide. When you're moving from a bigger unit to a smaller unit, you multiply. But in this case, smaller to bigger, so we divide. So 3,600 divided by 60. We can start out by cancelling our zeros, which is the same thing as dividing by 10. Then we can divide by 6. 6 into 6 is 1. 6 into 3 is 0, carry 3, 36. 6 into 36 is 6. 6 into 0 is 0. So that is 60 minutes. So it means that 3,600 seconds will give us 60 minutes or 1 hour. Question 30. Dele took 25 minutes to walk to school and he arrived at exactly 8 a.m. At what time did he leave his home? So we are taking away 25 minutes from 8 a.m. to figure out when he left his home. So we can simply do 8 a.m. minus 25 minutes. So this is our minutes place, this is our hours place. So that's 00 minutes minus 25 minutes. That wouldn't work, so we need to carry over 1 from here. So we remove 1, we are left with 7. Now, since this is hours, when we are bringing it here to minutes, it changes to 60 minutes. So it will be 60 plus 0, so that's 60 minutes. So 60 minutes minus 25 minutes. 0 minus 5 wouldn't work, so we borrow 1 from 6, and we are left with 5. So that's 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 5 minus 2 is 3. And then 7 minus nothing is 7. So this means he left his house by 7:35 a.m. right here. Question 31 says we should express 98 days in weeks. What we need to remember is that 7 days is equal to 1 week. So we are looking for the value of 98 days. Now, changing days to weeks means we are moving from a smaller unit to a bigger unit. So whenever you're moving from a smaller unit to a bigger unit, you should divide. Whereas when you're moving from a bigger unit to a smaller unit, you multiply. So days is smaller than weeks, so we divide. So we are dividing 98 days by 7. 7 into 7 is 1. 7 into 9 is 1, remainder 2. 7 into 28 is 4. So that's 14 weeks. So 98 days will give us 14 weeks. Question 32 says we should subtract this. So let us go. So we have our second space, our minute space, with our hour space. So 24 seconds minus 48 seconds. That wouldn't work. So we need to carry over 1. So we borrow 1 from 8. Let me just erase this so that it looks cool. Borrow 1 from 8 and it becomes 7. Now, when we are borrowing 1 from minutes, 1 minute, by the time we bring it to seconds, it should become 60 seconds. So if we carry over 60 seconds, then we add to 24. That would be 84 seconds. So this becomes 8. So 84. So we have 84 minus 48. Of course, 4 and 8 wouldn't work. So we subtract 1 from 8, it becomes 7. And we place it here. So that's 14 minus 8. 14 minus 8 is 6. 7 minus 4 is 3. That's 36 seconds. Now, 7 minutes minus 24 minutes, that wouldn't work. So we need to borrow 1 from here. So this will be 14. So we are borrowing 1 hour. By the time we convert it to minutes, it should be 60 minutes. So if we add that to the 7 minutes we already have here, that'll be 67 minutes. Now we can subtract. 7 minus 4 is 3. 6 minus 2 is 4. And then we have 14 minus 8. 14 minus 8 is 6. So that leaves us with 6 hours, 43 minutes, and 36 seconds. Thankfully, that's the first option here. 6 hours, 43 minutes, 36 seconds. Question 33, we should subtract. So these are seconds place, our minutes place, our hours place. So this is 32 seconds minus 42 seconds. Obviously, 32 seconds minus 42 seconds wouldn't work. So we need to borrow 1 from 18. So we'll be left with 17. Now, when we borrow 1 minute and bring it to the second space, it becomes 60 seconds because 60 seconds make 1 minute. So we are adding 60 here. So that's 60 plus 32, 292. So that's 92 seconds. So 92 minus 46. 2 minus 6 wouldn't work. So we'll borrow 1 from here. Left with 8. And this is 12. 12 minus 6 is 6. 8 minus 4 is 4. So 46 seconds. Now we come to the minutes place. 17 minutes minus 18 minutes. Again, that wouldn't work. So we borrow 1 from 5 hours. We're left with 4 hours. And then when we convert from hours to minutes, that's 60. So if we had 17 before and we add 60, that becomes 77. So 77 minus 18. 7 minus 8 wouldn't work. So we borrow from here. That's 6. Then this becomes 17. 17 minus 8 is 9. And then 6 minus 1 is 5. And then 4 minus 3 is 1. So that's 1 hour, 53 minutes, 46 seconds. 1 hour, 53 minutes, 46 seconds. Oh, sorry, 1 hour, 59 minutes, 46 seconds. 1 hour, 59 minutes, 46 seconds, right here. Question 34, we subtract. So that's 27 seconds minus 45 seconds. That wouldn't work. So we need to borrow from the minutes place. We borrow 1 from 5, we have 4. So we are taking 1 minute to the second space. And when we take 1 minute to the second space, it becomes 60 seconds because 60 seconds equal to 1 minute. So we are adding 60 to 27. So 60 plus 27, 87. That's 87 seconds minus 45 seconds. 7 minus 5 is 2. 8 minus 4 is 4. Now, we have 14 minutes minus 15 minutes. It wouldn't work, so we need to borrow 1. So 1 from 6 is 5. So we carry over 1 hour to the minute space. Again, we should convert. So 1 hour is equivalent to 60 minutes. So we are adding 60 to 14. That will be 74 minutes. So 74 minus 15. So that's 4 minus 5 wouldn't work. We borrow 1 from 7, that's 6. We have 14. 14 minus 5 is 9. 6 minus 1 is 5. And then 5 minus 4 is 1. So that's 1 hour, 59 minutes, 42 seconds right here. Question 35. It takes Dari 25 minutes to walk from his house to his school every day. Lesson starts at 8:10 a.m. and ends at 1:40 p.m. The school allows 35 minutes for a break. How long does Dari spend in the class daily? How long does he spend in class daily? It's even highlighted. So it means the time he spent walking on the road doesn't count. So in class, he is there from 8:10 a.m. to 1:40 p.m. But then there's a 35 minutes break. So to figure out our answer, we subtract this and also take away 35 minutes from it. So that will be 1:40 p.m. minus 8:10 a.m. Now, because this is in p.m., we need to change it to hours. You recall that your clock stops at 12 and then starts counting from 1 again. So 1:40 p.m. will be 12 plus 1. That's 13:40 hours. So that's 13:40 minus 8:10, 08:10 hours. So 0 minus 0 is 0. 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 minus 8, it wouldn't work, so we carry 1. 13 minus 8 is 5. So he spends 5 hours, 30 minutes in class. Now we need to take away the 35 minutes break. Looking at this, we can easily say that 35 minutes is the same thing as 30 plus 5 minutes. So if we remove this 30, that's 5 hours. And then if we remove 5 minutes from 5 hours, that's 4 hours, 55 minutes. So Dari spends 4 hours, 55 minutes in class daily. And that's right here. 36 says, how long will a man take to cover a distance of 7 kilometers by walking 4 kilometers per hour? So it means, according to this question, that 4 kilometers is equal to 1 hour. So we are looking for the value for 7 kilometers, how long it will take. So if 4 kilometers is 1 hour, then how long will it take for 7 kilometers? We can do that by dividing. So 4 kilometers is 1 hour. So 7 kilometers will be 7 over 4 hours. No, let's divide. 4 into 4 is 1. 4 into 7 is 1 remainder 3. Since there's nothing here to carry over, we put a decimal point here and on top, and then we write down 3. Because there was nothing to carry over 3 to, we include a 0. So 30. 4 into 30 is 7. Remainder 2. We include a 0. 4 into 20 is 5. So that's 1.75 hours. 1.75 hours is to be converted into minutes. So 0.75, we know this is 1 hour and 0.75. So 0.75 is the same thing as 75 over 100 because we move 1, 2. So 75 over 100. And then this is 0.75 of 1 hour or of 60 minutes. So we can multiply this by 60 to know by 60 minutes to know the actual value in minutes since it is 0.75 hours. So if we do that, 0 cancels 0, which is the same thing as dividing by 10. And then 2 into 6 is 3. 2 into 10 is 5. And then 5 into 5 is 1. 5 into 7 is 1 remainder 2. 5 into 25 is 5. So that leaves us with 15 times 3. 15 times 3, 5, carry 1, 3 times 1, 3 plus 1, 4. So 0.75 hours is the same as 45 minutes. So it means that he walks for 1 hour, 45 minutes. And that is right here. How many days are there in the first 4 months of a leap year? First 4 months of a leap year. That'll be January, February, March, and April. Now we know that January has 31 days. In a leap year, February has 29 days. March has 31 days and April has 30 days. So we add 31, 29, 31, 30. 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 1 is 11, so that's 1, carry 1. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 2 is 6, plus 3 is 9, that's 12. So that's 121 days. How many hours are there between 4:30 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. of the same day? So that means we need to do 2:30 p.m. minus 4:30 a.m. Whenever you have a case like this, you need to change them into hours. It's easier to subtract because 2:30 p.m. has already crossed over 12 hours. So you know that your watch stops at 12 and then starts counting from 1 again. So 1 and 2. So it means this is 14:30 hours. So we can do 14:30 hours minus 4:30 hours. Since it's AM, it's the same thing as 4:30 hours. And then we can subtract. This is our minutes place. This is our hours place. So 0 minus 0 is 0. 3 minus 3 is 0. 4 minus 4 is 0. 1 minus nothing is 1. So it means there are 10 hours between 4:30 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. the same day. How many hours are there between 6:30 a.m. and 7:30 p.m. of the same day? So we subtract to find out how much time it takes from here to here. So that's 7:30 p.m. Take away 6:30 a.m. But now, whenever you have p.m., it's safer to change it to hours so that you can easily subtract. So we know that our clock stops at 12, and then instead of counting 13, it counts 1. So 12 and then another 7 hours. So that will be 19 hours. So that's 19:30 hours. So 7:30 p.m. is 19:30 hours, and then minus 6:30 hours. So that's 6:30 a.m. This is our minutes place. This is our hours place. That's 30 minutes minus 30 minutes. Of course, that's 0. And then 9 minus 6 is 3. 1 minus nothing is 1. That leaves us with 13 hours right here. Question 40. How many hours are there in 1 week and 4 days? So 1 week plus 4 days. Because to be able to add, we should change both of them to same units. So we change weeks. Since weeks are bigger, we change from weeks to days. In 1 week, we have 7 days. So that's 7 days plus 4 days, which is 11 days. So we are looking for how many hours are there in 1 week and 4 days. Recall that in 1 day, we have 24 hours. Now we want to find how many hours are there in 11 days. To do that, we should multiply 11 days by 24 hours because we are changing from days to hours, and 1 day is equivalent to 24 hours. So 11 days is equivalent to 11 times 24 hours. So let's do that here. 11 times 24. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 1 is 4. We skip this space. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. So 4 plus nothing is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. And then 2 plus nothing. That's 264 hours. 264 hours. Okay, question 41 says, how many hours are there in 4 days and 17 hours? That's 4 days plus 17 hours. So we need to figure out how many hours are in 4 days. If you remember, 1 day is equal to 24 hours. So 4 days would be equal to 24 times 4. So let's do that here. 24 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 6 carry 1. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1, 9. So that's 96. 96 hours. So let us add 96 hours to 17 hours. 6 plus 7 is 13. 3 carry 1. 9 plus 1 is 10. Plus 1, 11. That's 113 hours. 113 hours in 4 days, 17 hours. How many minutes are there between 3 p.m. and 7 p.m.? Between 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. So first things first, we need to find how many hours between 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. So from 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7, or we simply do 7 minus 3, which is 4. So that's 4 hours. So we are looking for how many minutes are there in 4 hours. Remember that 1 hour is 60 minutes. So 24 hours, sorry, in this case 4 hours rather, 4 hours will be equal to 60 minutes times 4. So we can do that here. 60 times 4. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 6 is 24. So that's 240 minutes. How many minutes are there between 4:30 a.m. and 2:30 p.m.? So first, let's figure out hours from 4:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. That's 2:30 p.m. minus 4:30 a.m. So whenever we have questions like this where we need to do p.m. minus a.m., it's best to change p.m. to hours, and then 4:30 a.m. is the same as 4:30 hours. So we are good. So 2:30 p.m. to hours. Remember that your clock stops at 12, and instead of counting 13, it counts 1. So it means that if this has counted 2, then it is 12 plus 2. So that's 14 and then 30 hours. So this becomes 1430 hours minus 430 hours. We subtract. This is our minutes place. This is our hours place. 0 minus 0 is 0. 3 minus 3 is 0. 4 minus 4 is 0. 1 minus nothing is 10. This is 10 hours. So we want to change 10 hours to minutes. Remember that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So 10 hours should be equal to 60 times 10 minutes. 60 times 10, we just put the 0. So that's 600 minutes. So there are 600 minutes between 4:30 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. How many minutes are there between 7:30 a.m. and 2:15 p.m.? From 7:30 a.m. to 2:15 p.m., we need to subtract to figure out first how many hours are between them. So that's 2:15 p.m. minus 7:30 a.m. Now, whenever you have to subtract a.m. from p.m., one of the best approaches to use is to change your p.m. to hours. What do I mean? After 12, your clock goes back to count 1. But in hours, after 12, it is 13, it is 14, and so on, up until 24 hours. So 2:15 p.m. is the same thing as 12 plus 2, 15 hours. So 12 plus 2, that's 14, 15 hours. So 14 hours, 15 minutes. So 14 hours, 15 minutes, and then 7 hours, 30 minutes because it's AM. Now we can conveniently subtract. Remember that this is our minutes place and this is our hours place. So this is 15 minutes minus 30 minutes. That wouldn't work. So we borrow 1 from 4, it becomes 3. Now, remember that what we are borrowing is 1 hour. So when you move 1 hour to minutes, it should change to 60 minutes. So what we are bringing here is 60. And then 60 plus 15 is 75. So that's 75 right here. So 5 minus 0 is 5. 7 minus 3 is 4. 45 minutes. And then 3 minus 7 wouldn't work. So we borrow 1 from here, 0, and it becomes 13. 13 minus 7 is 6. So it means that between 7:30 a.m. and 2:15 p.m., we have 6 hours, 45 minutes. So that's 6 hours plus 45 minutes. But the question is asking us for how many minutes there are between 7:30 a.m. and 2:15 p.m. So we need to change 6 hours to minutes. Remember that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. Therefore, 6 hours would be 60 into 6 places. So that's 60 times 6 minutes. Then we can easily multiply 6 times 6 is 36, and then we include this 0. That's 360 minutes. So in all, we have 360 minutes as 6 hours plus 45 minutes. So let us add 360 plus 45. 0 plus 5 is 5. 6 plus 4 is 10. 0 carry 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. So that's 405 minutes between 7:30 a.m. and 2:15 p.m. 405 is right here. How many minutes are there from 12:15 p.m. to 3:45 p.m.? 12:15 p.m. to 3:45 p.m. So we should subtract. So 3:45 p.m. minus 12:15 p.m. Now, both of them are in p.m., but then the way this looks, we obviously cannot subtract. But what will be easy for us is to change this to hours. You know that from midnight to 12:15 p.m., that's 12 hours and 15 minutes. But from midnight to 3:45 p.m. is not 3:45 hours. So we change from the 12-hour clock to the 24-hour clock. So you know that when you get to 12 on your clock, you start counting 1. So there's 12, and then there's 1, 2, 3. So it means we are adding 3 hours, 45 minutes to 12. So 12 plus 3 is 15. So that becomes 15 hours, 45 minutes. And then this is 12 hours, 15 minutes. Now we can conveniently subtract. So this is our minutes place, this is our hours place. So 45 minutes minus 15 minutes. 5 minus 5 is 0. 4 minus 1 is 3. 5 minus 2 is 3. 1 minus 1 is 0. So that's 3 hours, 30 minutes. But then we are looking for how many minutes. So we should change 3 hours to minutes. You will recall that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. Therefore, 3 hours should be equal to 60 minutes into 3 places. 60 times 3. So 6 times 3 is 18, and then we include the 0. That's 180 minutes for 3 hours. Now, in all, we have 180 minutes plus 30 minutes. 180 minutes plus 30 minutes. 0 plus 0 is 0. 8 plus 3 is 11. So 1 carry 1. That's 210 minutes. Right here. How many minutes are there in 2.5 hours? 2.5 hours. How many minutes are there in 2.5 hours? Okay, so we can quickly use mental math for this. First, recall that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So 2 hours will be equal to 60 times 2, which is 120 minutes. And then half hour, if 1 hour is 60 minutes, then half hour should be half of 60, which is 30 minutes. So 2 hours, 2.5 hours is 120 minutes plus 30 minutes. So we can do that here. 120 plus 30. 0 plus 0 is 0. 2 plus 3 is 5. 1 plus nothing is 1. So that's 150 minutes. How many seconds are there between 10:10 a.m. and 10:20 a.m.? From 10:10 to 10:20. Let us subtract to see. So 10:20 minus 10:10. They are both in AM, so we can subtract. This is our minutes place. This is our hours place. So 0 minus 0 is 0. 2 minus 1 is 1. And then this is 0, 0. So this is simply 10 minutes. But we are looking for how many seconds. So recall that 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. Therefore, 10 minutes should be equal to 60 into 10 places. Because 6 times 1 is 6. And then we include the 2 zeros. That's 600 seconds. How many weeks are there in 49 days? So remember that 1 week is equal to 7 days. So we're looking for how many weeks are in 49 days. So we are changing from days to weeks. Now, whenever we are changing from a smaller unit to a bigger unit, you divide. And whenever you're changing from a bigger unit to a smaller unit, you multiply. So in this case, we'll divide. So 49 days is the same as 49 divided by 7 weeks. From our multiplication table, we know that 7 times 7 is 49. So our answer is 7 weeks. How much time is there between 10:07 a.m. and 5:49 p.m.? So how much time from here to here? And we can figure that out by subtracting. So that's 5:49 p.m. minus 10:07 a.m. and we are subtracting. Now, whenever you have to subtract a.m. from p.m., it's best to change that value to hours. So you recall that your clock, when it gets to 12, it starts counting back from 1. But in hours, after 12, you keep counting upwards until 24. So this is 12 plus another 5, which is 17 hours and 49 minutes. So now we can subtract 17:49 minus 10:07. This is our minutes place. This is our hours place. So 9 minus 7 is 2. 4 minus 0 is 4. 7 minus 0 is 7. 1 minus 1 is 0. That's 7 hours, 42 minutes. Right here. Okay, we have to subtract this seconds, minutes, hours. So for seconds, this is 35 seconds minus 47 seconds. Obviously, that wouldn't work. So we might want to borrow 1 from our minutes. So this becomes 8, and then we carry it over. But you would recall that when we are moving from minutes to seconds, we have to multiply by 60. So whilst we are borrowing 1 minute from here, it is actually 60 seconds. So we'll add 60 seconds to 35 seconds. 60 seconds plus 35 seconds. This is 5, this is 9. So this is actually 95 seconds. So 95 seconds minus 47 seconds, that would work. 5 minus 7 wouldn't go, so we borrow 1 from 9. We are left with 8. Put that here, comes 15. 15 minus 7 is 8, and then 8 minus 4 is 4. So that's 48 seconds. Now, minutes. 8 minutes minus 35 minutes, that obviously wouldn't work. So we come to hours and we borrow 1 from 4, we have 3. Now, same thing when you're changing from hours to minutes, you multiply by 60. So 1 hour is equivalent to 60 minutes. So by the time we come here, we're actually adding 60 to this to make 68. So we have 68 minus 35, because 8 minus 5 is 3, 6 minus 3 is 3. That's 33 minutes. And then for hours, 3 minus 7 wouldn't work, so we carry 1 over, so that's 13 hours minus 7 hours, which is 6. So in all, we have 6 hours, 33 minutes, and 48 seconds. 6 hours, 33 minutes, and 48 seconds right here. We have to subtract. So 25 seconds minus 48 seconds. Of course, that wouldn't work. So we need to borrow 1 from the minutes place. So we are left with 5 here. Now, when you borrow 1 from here, you have to convert it to seconds before adding it here. So whilst we are borrowing 1 minute from here, when it comes here, it becomes 60 seconds, because 60 seconds are there in 1 minute. So we are adding 60 seconds to 25 seconds here. So that's 60 plus 25, 85. So that is 85 seconds. 85 minus 48. 5 minus 8 wouldn't work. So we borrow 1 from 8, and that's 7. We put that here. So that's 15 minus 8. 15 minus 8 is 7. And then 7 minus 4 is 3. So that is 37 seconds. Now, we have 5 minutes minus 28 minutes. That wouldn't work. So we go to the hours place and we borrow 1. So if we borrow 1 from 7, that's 6. And by the time we are carrying 1 hour over here, it becomes 60 minutes, because 60 minutes are there in 1 hour. So that if you add 60 to 5, that becomes 65 minutes. So 65 minutes minus 28 minutes. 5 minus 8 wouldn't work, so we borrow 1 from 6, we are left with 5, and then this is 15. So 15 minus 8, that is 7, and then 5 minus 2 is 3. And then we move to the hours place. 6 minus 9 wouldn't work, so we carry this 1 over, it becomes 16 minus 9, which is 7. So our answer would be 7 hours, 37 minutes, 37 seconds. 7, 37, 37, right here. If a school begins at 8:15 a.m. and closes at 2:05 p.m., for how many hours and minutes are the pupils in school each day? Of course, to figure out what it takes from here to here, that will be subtraction, finding the difference between them. So that will be 2:05 p.m. minus 8:15 a.m. Now, whenever you have to subtract AM from PM, the safest thing to do is to change them to your hours. So you know that your clock, when it hits 12, it starts counting from 1 again. But in hours, after 12, it is 13 and then 14 and then 15 all the way to 24 hours. So this is 2 extra hours on top of 12. So that's 12 plus 2, which is 14:05 hours. So 2:05 p.m. is the same thing as 14 hours, 5 minutes. And then 8:15 a.m., since that is a.m., it still remains 8 hours, 15 minutes. So we subtract. This is our minutes place, this is our hours place. So this is 5 minutes minus 15 minutes. That obviously wouldn't work. So we borrow 1 from here, we're left with 3. Now, when we borrow 1 hour and carry it over to the minutes place, it changes from 1 hour to 60 minutes. So 60 minutes plus 5 minutes that we already have here, that's 65 minutes. Now we can subtract 65 minus 15. 5 minus 5 is 0. 6 minus 1 is 5. 3 minus 8, it wouldn't work, so we borrow 1 and carry it over. That's 13 minus 8, which is 5. So it means we have 5 hours, 50 minutes from 8:15 a.m. to 2:05 p.m. 5 hours, 50 minutes. If Adio left home for school at 7:25 a.m. and arrives at 8:05 a.m., how long did the journey take him? So find time from here to here. We subtract because we are finding the difference between them. So that's 8:05 a.m. minus 7:25 a.m. Since they are both a.m. the same day, we can subtract. This is our minutes place, this is our hours place. So that's 5 minutes minus 25 minutes. That wouldn't work. So we need to borrow. So from 8, we borrow 1 and we are left with 7. Now, when we carry over that 1 from hours to minutes, it changes. So 1 hour is equivalent to 60 minutes. So what we are actually carrying over from here to here is 60 minutes. So if we add that 60 to 5, it becomes 65. So 65 minutes. And now we can subtract. 5 minus 5 is 0. 6 minus 2 is 4. And then 7 minus 7 is 0. So it means that it took Adio 40 minutes to get to school. He left home by 7:25 a.m. It takes Dari 25 minutes to walk from his house to his school every day. Lessons start at 8:10 a.m. and end at 1:40 p.m. The school allows 35 minutes for a break. If Dari goes straight home after school, at what time should he arrive? He goes straight home after school. At what time should he arrive? School ends by 1:40 p.m. and it takes him 25 minutes to get home. So this is us adding 25 minutes to 1:40 p.m. Remember, this is our minutes place and this is our hours place. 0 plus 5 is 5. 4 plus 2 is 6. But now remember that our minute space can only take a maximum of 60 minutes. So it means we should separate 60 and 5. So we write down 5 and carry 60 over. So this would be 0, 5, and then we carry 60 over. Now 60 minutes is moving to the hours place. So 60 minutes becomes 1 hour. So that's 1. So Dari will arrive by 2:05 p.m. 2:05 p.m. is between 2 p.m. and 2:15 p.m. So here. If I multiply the sum of 632 and 1803 by 0, what will be my result? It's actually a very easy question because first you find the sum of these two and then you multiply it by 0. And anything multiplied by 0 will give you an answer of 0. So this is simply 0. That's easy. If today is Tuesday, what day of the week will 2 weeks, 4 days time be? 2 weeks, 4 days. Now, if today is Tuesday, Tuesday next week will be 1 week. Tuesday the other week will make it 2 weeks. So by Tuesday we are 2 weeks. And then we count 4 days after that. So that's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So Saturday. In a school, the first lesson of the day starts at 8:05 a.m. There are 3 lessons of 35 minutes each, and then breaks at the end of the third lesson. At what time does break start? So school starts by 8:05 a.m. and then 35 minutes happens 3 times because there are 3 lessons. Yes, there are 3 lessons. So we are adding 35 into 3 places to 8:05. So if one lesson is 35 minutes, then 3 lessons would be 35 minutes into 3 places. So that's 35 times 3. Let's do that here. 3 times 5 is 15. 5 carry 1. 3 times 3 is 9 plus 1, 10. That's 105. So that's 105 minutes. Now I want to add 105 minutes to 8:05 a.m. It's better to change this to um, hours and minutes so that we can easily add them to this since this is in hours and minutes also. So we know that 60 minutes will make 1 minute. So 2 minutes will be 60 times 2, which is 120, but this is not up to that. So let's take away 60 from 105. 5 minus 0 is 5. 0 minus 6, it will not go. So we carry 1, that's 10. 10 minus 6 is 4, 45. So 105 minutes is actually 60 minutes plus 45 minutes, which is 1 hour, 45 minutes. So let us add this to 8:05 a.m. First of all, it means that the 3 lessons will last for 1 hour, 45 minutes at 35 minutes each. So let's add that to 8:05 a.m. to know when lessons end, which is the same time a break starts. So 8:05 a.m. and we are adding 1 hour, 45 minutes. This is our minutes place. This is our hours place. 5 plus 5 is 10, so 0 carry 1. 1 plus 4 is 5, and then 8 plus 1 is 9. So break starts at 9:15 a.m. quite early. 9:50 a.m. rather. In 1968, a man was 38 years old. In what year was he born? So if he was 38 years old in 1968, if we take away those 38 years from 1968, we can find out when he was born. So taking away 38 years from 1968 is subtracting 38 years from 1968. 8 minus 8 is 0. 6 minus 3 is 3. And then 9, and then 1. So he was born in the year 1930. Mohammed's watch is 15 minutes late. A radio announcer says the time is 12 noon. What time does Mohammed's watch show? If Mohammed's watch is 15 minutes late, it means that it is 15 minutes behind the normal time. So to find out the time that his watch shows, we should subtract 15 minutes from 12 noon. So that's 12:00 p.m. minus 15 minutes. So here, because this is our minutes place, this is our hours place. So minutes, hours. So this 0 minutes minus 15 minutes, because that wouldn't work. So we need to borrow 1 from hours, and this will be 1, that's 11. And then we are bringing 1 hour here. When we are bringing 1 hour to the minutes place, we are actually converting from 1 hour to minutes. And then we know that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So the 1 that is borrowed from here, when it comes here, it becomes 60. Then 60 plus 0, that is 60. 60. Then 0 minus 5 wouldn't work. So we borrow 1 from 6, that is 5. And then this is 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. And then 1 minus nothing is 1. 1 minus nothing is 1. So his time should be reading 11:45 a.m. since it was 12 noon. And that is here. Mr. Ekong left his house at 6:40 a.m. and returned at 4:23 p.m. the same day. For how long was he away from his house? So we are finding out how much time it takes from here to here. The difference can be found using subtraction. So that's 4:23 p.m. Take away 6:40 a.m. Now, whenever you have to subtract a.m. from p.m., you should first change your p.m. to hours. Because 6:40 a.m. is 6 hours, 40 minutes from midnight. But 4:23 p.m. is not the same thing. So you recall that once your clock hits 12, instead of counting 13, it goes back to count from 1 again. So it means that after 12 noon, it has been 4 hours, 23 minutes. So if we add that together, 12 plus 4, 2 plus 4 is 6. So that's 16 hours, 23 minutes. So we are actually subtracting 16 hours, 23 minutes minus 6 hours, 40 minutes. This is our minutes place. This is our hours place. This 23 minus 40 plus 3 minus 0 is 0. But then 2 minus 4 wouldn't work. So we need to borrow 1 from 6, which will give us 5. Now, when we are borrowing 1, when it comes to the minutes place, it should change to 60 because 1 hour is equivalent to 60 minutes. So it means we are adding 60 here. So 60 plus 23, 0 plus 3 is 3, 6 plus 2 is 8. So this becomes 83. Now we can conveniently subtract. 3 minus 0 is 3. 8 minus 4 is 4. Then 5 minus 6 wouldn't work, so we include this 1, and it becomes 15 minus 6, which is 9. So this is 9 hours and 43 minutes. 9 hours, 43 minutes. Mr. Oladele left his house for work at 7:30 a.m. and returned at 9:25 p.m. How long was he away from home? He left his house by 7:30 a.m. Mr. Oladele left his house for work at 7:30 a.m. and returned at 9:25 p.m. How long was he away from home? So we want to find the difference between this time and this time. And how we do that is by subtraction. So 9:25 p.m. minus 7:30 a.m. Now, whenever you're subtracting time and you have a case where you have to take away a.m. from p.m., what you should do is to change them both to hours. Now, 7:30 a.m. is the same as 7:30 hours, or 7 hours, 30 minutes from midnight, but 9:25 p.m. is not the same thing. And that's because when your timer counts to 12, instead of going to 13, it goes back to 1 and starts counting from there. But then when you're counting in hours, you just add whatever you had to 12 once it's in PM. So 9:25 p.m. is the same thing as 12 hours plus 9 hours, 25 minutes. So 12 plus 9 is 21. So that will be 21 minutes and 25 hours. So we can change this to 21:25. 21:25 hours. So this is our minutes place, this is our hours place. 25 minutes minus 30 minutes, it wouldn't work. So we need to borrow one from here, and this becomes 20. So when we borrow one from here and bring it here, so we are moving hours to minutes. 1 hour is equivalent to 60 minutes. So when we move it here, we're actually adding 60 to what's already here. So if we add 60 to 25, 5, 8, that's 85. So 85 minutes minus 30 minutes. Now we can subtract. 5 minus 0 is 5. 8 minus 3 is 5. 0 minus 7 wouldn't work. So we borrow 1 from here and place it here. So that's 10. 10 minus 7 is 3. 1 minus nothing is 1. So this means that he was away from home for 13 hours and 55 minutes. 13 hours and 55 minutes right here. Multiply 3 hours, 40 minutes by 7. Multiply 3 hours, 40 minutes by 7. Now, questions like this, the easiest way is to change everything to minutes. You multiply by 7, and then you can change back to hours. So recall that 1 hour is 60 minutes. So 3 hours is equal to 60 minutes times 3. 6 times 3 is 18, and then we include the 0. So that's 18 minutes. Sorry, 180 minutes for 3 hours. Then 3 hours, 40 minutes will be 180 minutes plus 40 minutes. So 180 plus 40, 0 plus 0 is 0, 8 plus 4 is 12, 2 carry 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. So 220 minutes. So it's time to change 220 minutes. Sorry, we have 3 hours, 40 minutes as 220 minutes. Now we can multiply by 7. So 220 and 7. So 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 2 is 14. 4 carry 1. 7 times 2 is 14 plus 1, that's 15. So 1,540 minutes. Now we have 1,540 minutes. Let us change that to hours. So now we are changing from minutes to hours. We are changing from a smaller unit to a bigger unit. It means we should divide. When you're changing from a bigger unit to a smaller unit, you multiply. So 1540 divided by 60. We can start out by cancelling our zeros, which is the same thing as dividing by 10. So 6 into 6 is 1. 6 into 1, it cannot go. 0, carry 1. 6 into 15 is 2. Remainder 3. 6 into 34 is 5. Remainder 4. So that is 25. Remainder 4 out of 6. 25 remainder 4 out of 6. This is 25 hours and 4 out of 6 hours. So what we can easily do is to find out what 4 out of 6 hours is. So that's 4 out of 6 times 60 minutes. 4 out of 6 times 60 minutes. 6 here is 1. 6 into 6 is 1. And then into 0 is 0. So we are left with 4 times 10, which is 40 minutes. So 3 hours, 40 minutes is the same thing as 25 minutes. Sorry, 25 hours and 40 minutes. 3 hours, 40 minutes multiplied by 7. So right here. Okay, question 63. Nigerian time is 1 hour ahead of Greenwich Meridian time. What time will it be in Nigeria when it is 1650 GMT? So if Nigeria is 1 hour ahead of GMT, then we should add 1 hour to this. So 1 hour plus 1 hour to this, 100. We'll end up with 0571. So 1750. 1750 in the 12-hour clock, that will be 1750 minus 12, since 1750 is in hours. So if we subtract, this will be 0, 5, and 7 minus 2 is 5. So that will be 5:50 p.m. And 5:50 p.m. is right here. Question 64. School starts at 8 a.m. If Yemi arrives at 7:47 a.m., how many minutes early or late was she? So 7:47 a.m. is obviously happening before 8 a.m., which means she's early. So to find how many minutes she was early, we need to subtract 8 a.m. and 7:47 a.m. So 8 a.m., 7:47 a.m. Subtract. So this is our minutes place, this is our hours place. So that's 0 minutes minus 47 minutes. Wouldn't work. So we come to the hours place and borrow 1 from 8. So we have 7. So if we borrow 1 hour, by the time it comes to minutes, it changes to 60 minutes. So this becomes 60 minutes. So 60 minutes minus 47 minutes. 0 minus 7 wouldn't work. So we borrow 1 from 6. We have 5. So this becomes 10. So 10 minus 7 is 3. 5 minus 4 is 1. And then this is 0. So that leaves us with 13 minutes. So Yemi was 13 minutes early right here. Question 65. 6 houses on a street together use an average of 47 liters of water daily. How many liters of water do they use in a week? So 1 day is 47 liters. So 1 week, remember 7 days make 1 week. So that will be 47 liters times 7. So we multiply 47 times 7. 7 times 7 is 49. 9 carry 4. 7 times 4 is 28 plus 4, that's 32. So it means that the street uses an average of 329 liters in a week right here. Question 66. Tayo was born on 12th December 1976. When will he celebrate his third birthday anniversary? His third birthday anniversary would be 3 years after 1976. So we should add 3 years to 1976. So 1976 plus 3. 6 plus 3 is 9. This is 7, 9, 1. So that will be 1979. Exactly 3 years will be 12th of December 1979. That's right here. Question 67. The volume of a tank is 45,000 centimeters cubed. If water leaks out of the full tank at the rate of 60 centimeters cubed per minute, how long does it take before the tank is empty? So this tank loses 900 centimeters cubed every minute. So we need to look for how many 900s we can find in 45,000. That will tell us how many minutes it takes for the tank to be empty. So we are dividing 45,000 by 900. So we start out by cancelling our zeros, which is the same thing as dividing by 10. We cancel again, we've divided by 10 again. So we have 450 divided by 9. And then we can divide through by 9. 9 into 9 is 1. 9 into 4, it cannot go. 0 carry 4. We have 45. 9 into 45 is 5. 9 into 0 is 0. So that leaves us with 50. So that's 50 minutes. So if the tank loses 900 centimeters cubed every minute, it will take 50 minutes to lose 45,000 centimeters cubed right here. Question 68. What is the length of time taken on a journey which begins at 8:27 a.m. and ends at 14:16 p.m.? 8:27 a.m., 14:16 p.m. So this is 14:16 hours, 8:27 hours. So we can subtract. So 14:16 and 8, so 0, 8, 27. We are subtracting. Remember, this is our minutes place, this is our hours place. That's 16 minutes minus 27 minutes. It wouldn't work. So we come to the hours place and borrow 1. So if we borrow 1 from this, we have 3 left. And by the time we bring it here, it's 60. So when we add 60 to 16, that will be 76. So 76 minutes minus 27 minutes. 6 minus 7 wouldn't work, so we borrow 1 from 7 here, becomes 6. So this is 16. 16 minus 7 is 9. Then 6 minus 2 is 4. And then 3 minus 8, it wouldn't work, so we make it 13. 13 minus 8 is 5. So that's 5 hours and 49 minutes right here. Which of the following faces of a clock shows 5 minutes past 8? 5 minutes past 8 would mean that the shorter hand is on 8, or the hours hand, and the longer hand will represent 5 minutes, which should be on 1. So this is on 4, this is 20 minutes past. This is on 5, this is 25 minutes past. This is on 1, that's 5 minutes past. That is the answer we are looking for. 10 minutes past 8 should be written as 10 minutes past 8 means first there's 8 o'clock, and then 10 minutes past it, or 10 minutes after it. So it means we should add 10 minutes to 8 o'clock. That should be 8:10. And that is right here.